Abigail's world turned upside down when she discovered she might have inherited over $6 million. Her mother-in-law, lost in a daydream, excitedly talked about building a duplex with a kitchen from her dreams as if the money was already theirs to spend. Her husband, William, quit his job, planning to dive into a business venture using the inheritance Abigail supposedly received. Confused and frustrated, Abigail tried to correct them. She hadn't seen a penny of that inheritance yet. "Why are you making such big plans when I've repeatedly said the inheritance isn't in our hands yet?" Abigail questioned, bewildered by their actions and plans for trips to places like Hawaii, fueling the chaos with her in-laws' grand dreams. The situation made no sense to Abigail. The thought of her loved ones wanting to spend her mother's legacy however they wished, without her consent, filled her with a silent fury. This bizarre turn of events had its roots a few months back. Abigail, a dedicated college professor of 34, and William, her facilities manager husband of 36, had built a life together for 10 years, enriched by the arrival of their daughter, Isla. Life was a blend of work, family time, and caring for Isla, who brought endless joy into their lives. On a visit to her ailing mother in the hospital with Isla, a tender scene unfolded. Her mother, frail yet smiling, gently caressed Isla's hair, a moment of love amidst the stark hospital setting. A middle-aged man in glasses, who briefly interacted with Abigail, turned out to be more than just an acquaintance, hinting at matters of significance waiting to unfold. Abigail's mother, with eyes mirroring the depth of the sky, shared a smile that hid years of sacrifice and love. She had followed her heart across the globe, marrying a man who brought her to the U.S. to start a family in a land unfamiliar. Together, they faced the challenges of raising Abigail in a foreign culture, a testament to their resilience and love. Now, as her mother lay in a hospital bed, their past of joys and struggles came back to Abigail, reminding her of the strength inherited from her parents. This inheritance, however, was not just of love and memories, but seemingly also of a significant monetary legacy, sparking dreams and greed among Abigail's in-laws. Caught in the whirlwind of her family's sudden plans and expectations, Abigail found herself at a crossroads, reflecting on her values, her family's future, and the true meaning of inheritance. Growing up, I was blessed with parents who were a true team. Their unwavering support and the lessons my mother instilled in me from a young age are the bedrock of my career as a college professor today. My gratitude towards them knows no bounds, especially for the loving and comfortable life they provided. However, life took a turn when my father passed away, leaving my mother to face her twilight years with illness. She eventually had to hand over the family business to a relative and now spends her days in a hospital, a quiet observer of the world she once actively participated in. "Are you okay, Mom? Do you need anything?" I often ask during our visits. Her reply is always filled with warmth. "Just seeing you and Isla is more than enough for me." These exchanges and the precious moments Isla shares with her grandmother, talking about school and the books she's read, are bittersweet. Isla, at the delicate age of 10, is as bright and sincere as they come, making our relationship a source of pride and joy. Returning home from one such visit, William, my husband, inquires about his mother-in-law's well-being. His curiosity is genuine, though lately he seems more preoccupied with financial seminars aimed at fostering dreams of entrepreneurship. William's newfound ambition for wealth, presumably influenced by his parents' frugality and occasional requests for money, strikes me as misplaced. Our financial situation is stable, thanks to our combined incomes, yet his parents' reluctance to spoil Isla, even on Christmas, has only widened the emotional distance between our families. Thankfully, geographical distance spares us from frequent encounters with his penny-pinching parents. William compensates with his adeptness at managing our home, which keeps our life relatively peaceful and content. Surrounded by my mother, husband, and daughter, I cherish our simple yet fulfilling existence. This tranquility was shattered one day by a phone call from the hospital, bearing news of my mother's sudden decline. The stability of our lives seemed to hang in the balance as I grappled with this unexpected challenge, reminding me of the transient nature of comfort and the inevitable confrontations with reality we all must face. When the call came that my mother was critically ill, we hurried to the hospital, fearing the worst. Arriving to find her struggling for each breath was a moment etched in pain and disbelief. "Mom! Mom! Grandma! No!" we cried, our voices a blend of desperation and love. Her final words to me, filled with a lifetime of love and wisdom, were a plea for happiness and a reminder to treasure Isla, my daughter, above all else. "I love you," she whispered, leaving us with a legacy of love and the memory of her devotion. Standing beside her coffin, the serene expression on my mother's face offered a stark contrast to the storm of grief within me. Isla, too, wept beside me, our shared sorrow a testament to the profound loss we felt. In the quiet days following her departure, an unexpected envelope found its way to our doorstep. Sent by a law firm, its contents revealed a truth unknown to me. My mother had left her entire inheritance to me. Surprised and somewhat bewildered, since we'd never discussed such matters, I decided to seek clarity from the source and made my way to the law firm. There, I was greeted by attorney Sophia, the same dignified gentleman I had briefly encountered at the hospital. "You were there in my mother's room," I remarked, recognition dawning. His confirmation and the gentle tone of his voice brought an unexpected rush of emotions. The revelation that followed left me staggered. My inheritance, coupled with my mother's assets and even after taxes, amounted to $900 million. Sophia explained that when my father passed, I had renounced my claim to allow my mother to inherit everything. Now, she had named me the sole beneficiary of this vast fortune. The weight of this news, the magnitude of my mother's trust in me, and the memory of her last moments filled me with a profound sense of responsibility and a desire to honor her legacy in every choice I made moving forward. Growing up, I knew my parents were well off, but the magnitude of the inheritance they left behind was beyond my imagination. Throughout my marriage, I never once reached out to them for financial assistance, steering clear of discussions about inheritance due to a superstition that it was bad luck to do so. When I learned of the inheritance left for me, a wave of dizziness overwhelmed me. It was a profound gesture of love from my mother. With these thoughts swirling in my head, I entrusted all legal matters to Sophia, the attorney. He assured me of his support, emphasizing my mother's deep care for me and her wish for him to be there for me. Grateful for his assistance, I thanked him sincerely before stepping out of his office. As time moved forward, the period of mourning for my mother's passing brought unexpected challenges. William, my husband, who had known of my family's wealth, began to inquire more persistently about the inheritance, especially as we approached the date of my mother's 53rd day memorial service. Despite my grief, he couldn't help but bring up financial matters, a behavior that left me disheartened. My in-laws' behavior during this time was particularly unsettling. At the memorial service, they offered their assistance with the inheritance, despite never having shown any willingness to help before. Their sudden interest and offers of help felt disingenuous, leaving me to respond with non-committal answers. Then, 3 months after my mother's passing, William's patience seemed to run out. He bluntly asked if I'd received the inheritance, prompting a sense of foreboding within me. In response, I told a white lie, claiming the legal procedures were still ongoing. In truth, I had followed Sophia's advice and secured the inheritance in a safe deposit box, but admitting that didn't feel like the right choice at the moment. This decision to withhold the truth was driven by a need to protect the inheritance from being mishandled, hoping to honor my mother's legacy in a way that felt true to her wishes and the love she had always shown me. 2 months had passed since my mother's death, and William, my husband, was curiously upbeat as he mentioned the time frame and questioned whether I'd completed the inheritance procedures. "So, have you?" he prodded, his tone laced with an odd mixture of anticipation and indifference. Without waiting for my response, he cheerfully announced he was heading to bed, leaving a trail of confusion and concern behind him. The unease from our conversation lingered within me as I prepared for the next day. However, life had to go on, and so, with a heavy heart, I turned in for the night, hoping sleep would offer some respite from the whirlwind of emotions. The following evening, as Isla and I were tidying up after dinner, The sudden ring of the doorbell pierced the calm of our home. Isla raced to answer it, and I, curious, peeked from the kitchen, only to find an unexpected sight: my in-laws standing at the doorstep, with William returning from work alongside them. Their presence was both surprising and unwelcome, given the timing. "Why are you all here?" I asked, a mix of surprise and apprehension in my voice. William brushed off my concern, suggesting Isla retreat to her room, which she did, though not without casting a worried glance our way. My father-in-law, Sophia, couldn't contain his excitement as he declared there was a reason for celebration. He jovially retrieved a beer from the fridge, his actions brimming with a sense of occasion. My mother-in-law, equally enthused, shared their grand plan. They had begun the construction of a duplex intended for us to live together, a project that included what she described as a dreamlike modern kitchen. Confusion washed over me. "What are you talking about?" I demanded, trying to grasp the reality of their claims. William joined in, explaining with a grin that they had used their savings along with money set aside for this purpose, expecting me to cover the rest with my inheritance. He proudly added that he had quit his job to start a business with the funds he assumed would be available from the inheritance. I stood there, dumbfounded. "Hold on, what are you all talking about?" I repeated, my mind racing to understand how they could make such significant decisions without my consent or even a clear confirmation of the inheritance's status. The situation was spiraling into absurdity, and I struggled to find my footing amidst the revelations and assumptions being laid before me. "I've already told you I haven't received any inheritance yet. And what's this about quitting your job and planning a duplex? This doesn't make sense," I tried to explain, my confusion growing by the second. Ignoring my protests, the conversation spiraled into plans for a luxurious trip to Hawaii, as if the duplex and the business weren't enough. Amidst the escalating excitement, William, with a mocking laugh, accused me of being stingy. "Abigail, we did our homework. You can't just walk away from an inheritance by not claiming it. It's been 3 months. Whether you processed it or not, the inheritance is yours. Given the size of your father's business, it has to be substantial. We're set for a comfortable life thanks to your parents. Just make sure you sort out the finances for the duplex and my startup capital." Hearing William talk like this, as if my inheritance was theirs to command, left me reeling. How could they so blatantly plan to use the legacy my mother left me for their indulgences? Swallowed by anger yet unable to express it, fearful of upsetting Isla, who was nearby, I excused myself, stepping out into the cool night. Alone, my steps led me to the hilltop park, a place of solace shared with my mother. There, under the cover of night, I allowed my tears and frustration to flow, mourning not just my mother's passing, but the exploitation of her love for me. Despite the turmoil, the thought of divorce seemed too drastic, especially with Isla in the picture. My mother's admonition to prioritize Isla echoed in my heart, renewing my tears. Unexpectedly, a gentle voice broke through my sorrow. The stranger's soft words offered a moment of unexpected solace in my turmoil. After taking some time to gather my thoughts and strength, I arranged a meeting with William and my in-laws at a restaurant. It was time to confront the situation head-on to reclaim control of my life and my mother's legacy. "So, you've decided to come back," they said upon my return. Following a tense confrontation, Abigail stood firm against the incredulous stares of her husband William and her in-laws. They were pressing her about withdrawing the inheritance, chiding her for leaving the house without notifying William, a statement that highlighted their control rather than concern. In a decisive move, Abigail revealed a document that silenced the room, a divorce notice, meticulously filled out and irrevocable in its intent. "William, I want a divorce," she declared, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling within her. The announcement sent shockwaves through the room. William's initial panic quickly morphed into anger, accusing Abigail of abandoning the family post-inheritance, suggesting the money had transformed her. Yet it was Abigail who countered, outlining how it was William who had changed, embarking on reckless ventures and making unilateral decisions that threatened their family's stability. As the dispute escalated, with William and his parents asserting a claim to half of Abigail's inheritance by virtue of marriage, the atmosphere tensed, ready to snap. At that moment, the door opened and two unexpected allies stepped in: Isla, their daughter, and Sophia, the attorney managing Abigail's inheritance. Isla's presence and Sophia's introduction cut through the tension. Sophia, acknowledging his role in safeguarding Abigail's interests, clarified a crucial legal point. The inheritance from a deceased parent does not merge into marital assets and remains solely Abigail's. This revelation dismantled the arguments of William and his parents, highlighting their misunderstanding and entitlement. Sophia's calm but firm clarification underscored a fundamental truth about inheritance laws, protecting Abigail's rights and her mother's legacy. The unfolding scene, a blend of personal resolve and legal clarity, underscored a pivotal moment of assertion and protection, with Abigail standing her ground, backed by the unwavering support of her daughter and the expertise of her attorney. In a room charged with tension and disbelief, my announcement of seeking a divorce seemed to push everyone to their limits. "You must be joking. This can't be happening," they protested, clearly shaken by the turn of events. It dawned on me then they had genuinely believed that my inheritance would somehow become theirs to claim. This realization only solidified my decision to leave, a choice that William, with a desperate look in his eyes, refused to accept. "I won't let you go no matter what," he declared, disregarding the gravity of the situation. It was Isla who cut through the tension with her calm yet firm intervention. "Enough," she said, her voice resonating with maturity far beyond her years. She then laid bare the truth that had been gnawing at the heart of our family. Since the inheritance came into play, had anyone truly considered my feelings or well-being? All discussions had revolved around money, leaving no room for genuine familial bonds or consideration for Isla herself. "How can I see you as my family when all you do is chase after Grandma's legacy for your own gain?" "I'm with Mom on this," she declared, her decision clear. Her words were a catalyst for my own resolve. It was Isla's bravery in confronting the situation that spurred me to arrange this crucial meeting with Sophia, our attorney. Despite attempts by William and my in-laws to sway her with promises of happiness and thinly veiled attempts to minimize her role in this decision, Isla remained unwavering. "I'm staying with Mom. I cannot stand to be with you any longer," she stated, turning away, signaling the end of any debate. As I calmly reiterated our decision to leave, William's frustration boiled over. "I've done nothing wrong. You can't just divorce me and take everything. I'll fight this. I'll get a lawyer." "We'll see about the money," he blustered, revealing his true concerns were not about our family, but about the financial gains he perceived slipping through his fingers. In this moment of turmoil, the bond between Isla and me only strengthened, our resolve firm in the face of adversity. The path forward was clear, marked by our mutual decision to protect and prioritize our well-being over any material inheritance. "Let me handle this," Sophia said in a calm, reassuring tone, outlining the situation with precision. He explained that the core issue was the multitude of serious reasons why the marriage couldn't continue: William's impulsive decision to quit his job, his unauthorized use of our family savings, and the push to cohabit with my in-laws against our wishes. Isla's discomfort was palpable. She had even recorded conversations where my in-laws and William were clearly overstepping boundaries, eyeing my inheritance. This, Sophia pointed out, would serve as crucial evidence in our favor. Confronted with the reality of their actions, William's confidence waned, and my in-laws' faces lost their color. Following this confrontation, Isla and I made our exit, leaving behind the chaos for a new beginning. With Sophia's diligent legal support, my divorce from William was finalized a year later. Isla and I then moved into the home once filled with my mother's presence, seeking solace in its familiarity. Despite moving on, reminders of the past would occasionally surface: letters from William, his unexplained appearances near Isla's school, each incident a stark reminder of the need to maintain our distance. We turned to Sophia once more, this time for a restraining order, seeking peace from the persistent intrusions. Meanwhile, rumors reached us that William and my in-laws had managed to build the duplex they'd planned, yet their victory was short-lived. Financial struggles forced them into manual labor, and the household was plagued by constant disputes, alienating them further within their community. Amid these echoes of turmoil, Isla and I found tranquility. One day, Isla expressed a desire to study abroad in the very country my mother had once called home. Embracing this new chapter, we decided to relocate overseas, utilizing a portion of my inheritance to fund our fresh start. This decision, I believe, would have made my mother proud. Now settled in a new country, Isla thrives in her school environment, and I've embraced my role as a college professor once more. Together, we cherish each peaceful day, hopeful for the continuity of this serenity, a testament to our resilience and the enduring bond between mother and